Hello, I'm back, and I told you in the earlier video that I wanted to backtrack regarding the gambrel roof building. I want to backtrack and show you some things, building techniques I use to make it more fun for one, but to make it easier to find angles. So a lot of people I know struggle with angles. Uh, they cut and fit, cut and fit, and eventually you get it. And you know what? I'm okay with that. It looks good when you're done. That's what we're after. It doesn't take, if it takes a minute longer, that's fine. But I want to show you something I found that made it really easy, simple. Simple is good for me. And hopefully, simple will be something good for you. And I'm going to demonstrate how I found angles on the drip edge cutting. I used white aluminum drip edge, and I'm going to draw right on this wood to show you how to find the angles. I want this to be so simple you can say, I can do that. And so with that note, I'm going to go ahead and just start the video. And if you think this helped you, I'd sure love to see you like, subscribe, and all those things. But I just want to see if this is something that would help you, because I found it once I discovered how easy it was to do angles that I thought, well, I want to show somebody else how to do this. So here we go. Okay, so I drew these lines on here because you got to start making sense of stuff. If you're like me, you got to be able to see it. And when I extended this line down here and this line here, now I start to see something in common here, okay? These angles. It starts to make a little bit of sense. Okay, this line's just simply extended with a straight edge, and that line there is simply extended, and that would be a straight edge, but I didn't need to use that because that's what I cut my angle at there. So if you want to do something, buy a cheap tool. This is a handy dandy little tool here. This is a adjustable square, and if I put that up here like this, okay, I want to figure out what angle that is. Okay, would you like to know what angle that is? Sure you would, right? So you lock that in like this, okay? If I come around this way, right? Let me get it figured out here, hang on. I gotta do this with one hand here, so if I go like that, see, I got about the same thing, okay? There we go. I got about the same thing, all right? Now, when I bring that down here, using this beautiful large Swanson square and line that up, it shows me about 38 degrees, I believe. Yeah. If you look at the degrees on there, see that? Yeah, I picked that up there. You see that 35, 36, 37, 38 degrees right there. Okay? Look at that. Now, it takes some time to figure this stuff out, but just do it. Okay, see, I can put that here too. All right? All right, and I can flip this over, and I can put it here. It should be the same, pretty close. You're working with wood and cuts, and you know, not everything's perfect, but you can see that looks like they're the same angle. Okay, so I come back here and look, and I say, oh, looky here. All right, there we go. Line that up, and there's 38 degrees. So what I do is I go over here and I get my little marker out and say, what's half of that? Well, half of 38 happens to be 19 degrees. So what does that tell me? Well, it tells me that these cuts are going to be 19 degrees on these two pieces of drip edge here and here, okay? So when I put this drip edge on here, I'm going to cut this 19 degrees, and when I put this piece on, this has got a little bit of an angle on it already, but you can kind of see how that's almost close there, okay? Because if you don't do that, one's going to be longer and extend over the other, okay? And I also want a little overlap, so there's going to be a little cheating. It's not really cheating, it's compensating, because I want this one to overlap this one. So when the rain comes down, it doesn't run, I don't want it back behind here, right? And if I had to and couldn't get it right, I'd put a little piece of aluminum flashing behind it just to make sure it didn't. But we're going to make this overlap this piece just a little bit, okay? And then also on top, we're going to have to overlap this too. And this is where I got started about the idea of cutting this, because you see this? No, not real good, is it? I want to get back under there, and I can't get back under there without cutting something. So this is where we're going to go from here. All right. I'm going to cut that, but I'm not going to cut it right there. Okay, when I do the shingling. So here we go. You see my angle there is a 90 degrees. 90 isn't going to work. I've got to get this cut at 19 degrees to line up with this line here, right? 19 degrees. Okay. So now, nice thing about YouTube and videos is you can back up and kind of see how it walked you through that, figuring an angle out like this. Okay, real quick. There's your adjustable square, so you can lock it. See, there's a little tab here, a little wing nut on there. You just lock that in, so you can. It's a really helpful little tool. I use it, well, not often, but when I do, it's just handy. And I can swing it right down here now and say, look at there, 38 degrees. It's 38 degrees. Both those angles are 38 degrees. So this right here is going to be half of these 38 degrees, which is actually just happens to work out even number, which is kind of nice, which is 19, no fractions, okay? And so there we go, 19 degrees. I'm going to go ahead and cut these 19, put them on, and then I'll show you. And so hopefully this video is designed to build confidence. I love teaching people how to do stuff, figuring things out. I did things the hard way. Had people show me too, which I'm thankful for. But some things you got to do it yourself and do it several times to figure it out until you get it right. So here we go. You're going to get this. Okay, so here we are. I'm thinking, okay, now I understand what we're doing. I kind of understand how to figure them angles out now. And I know it's going to be half of that 38 that I showed you how to do with the large Swanson square. And so it's just divide that 38 by 2 now, and I got 19. So how do I make that 19 degree angle? So I want to cut some drip edge here. So here's what I'm going to do. All right, here's a piece of drip edge, and here is right there my 19 degrees, okay? 10, 15, there's no little mark for 19, but you know, we aren't rocket scientists, we don't need that. That's for anal people. Okay, so there's 19 degrees, all right? And so you think, okay, well, how can I really draw that easily? Okay, back to this, okay? This wonderful little thing called an adjustable square, okay? So I'm just gonna take this here, slide my bucket out of the way here. All right, and I'm going to take this square and I'm going to go like this, and I'm going to lock it, which I already done, of course. There is 19 degrees to cut that. There we go. Okay, so when you're using a square, if you've never used one or not just familiar with it more than just cutting 90-degree angles or 45s, you got to pivot it back here. This has to be tight against here, and then you swing that. Just swing this, and then you find there's your 19. I bumped it here just a little bit, but there's your 19 degrees right there. Okay, and then you say, great, now how do I mark my piece? And that's where this comes in handy. I got it locked in, okay? Take this wing nut here, and you'll notice mine's broken, but you know what, it works just fine with just one of the two wings on it, okay? I don't have a lot of nice, I mean, really, it's nice to have great, fancy, brand new tools, but you don't need them. I've been doing this a long time. I like my old tools, like you work fine. You get used to things. You don't like to change anyway if you're old, like me. So there we go. You got it? 19 degrees. There's my angle, all right? Now hang in there. And all you got to do is, there's your piece of drip edge. Okay, so all we're going to do is, in my case here, that angle is going to be just like that. See, I couldn't get that the other way. There you go. So I'm going to set this down, my phone down here. I'm going to draw that line on there. So bear with me. Okay, so while we're doing this, let's talk about tin shears. I got a nice tin shears. I think this puppy is 30 years old. Nice aluminum, it's really light. Got great jaws. You can actually change them teeth out, which I'm sure you can't buy them anymore. But anyways, I want you to know that's a right hand, and then there's over here I've got a right hand and a left hand. And what you see is the difference. In case you don't know this, I'm telling you what, a lot of you guys know this stuff, but there's people that watch this that this is new. And so this is for the benefit of people who are new. Okay, so you notice that when you cut with this one, this is the same as this one, this little guy, okay? It's going to bend that metal up on the left. See how it's starting to curl up there? Okay, I don't want to use this one because it's going to curl up this side and bend it. So that's why you want a nice left and a right hand shears. Okay, so I'm using my nice shears here because it cuts so easy. But this piece here is bending up. I'm going to kind of show you. Yeah, there you go. Now you see it. There. See how that curled up? I don't want that happening here, right? You don't want that happening over here. You want that piece to stay just nice and flat because that's going to show. This piece, I'm going to throw this one away. Okay? So you don't want to use a left-hand shears in this situation because you see how that's curled? And that would bend up the other side. Let me open this up. There we go. That would curl when I cut the right side. It's called a left-hand shears, but I want this piece. I would use that if I was on this side. See, I'll just do that here. There, see how it bent it up over there? So I would use this left-hand shears on the right side for that cut because this is curling up here, and that's just fine. So I'm going to finish this cut, and then we'll see how it looks. Okay, so there's the finished cut. Now I did use this green-handled left-hand shears because I wanted to nip this right here, okay? And you see how that flipped it on the right. It bent that up. It didn't bend up. I didn't want to bend this up. But that's the piece that I cut and just threw. Here it is. Okay, so there's the piece I just cut and threw away. I cut that out of there like this. Okay, and bent it up and gone. All right. So why'd you do that? Good question. Because I'm going to bend this a little bit because I want to overlap the piece that I was telling you about up there so that when the ring, here we go, it's going to be looking something like this, okay, when I get that up there. Okay, so now when I go to bend that up, I happen to have this wide-nosed vice grip. Look how old that thing is. See, everybody on videos uses shiny new stuff. It doesn't work any better than this. In fact, I might make an argument that it would be not so good. So I want to get real fancy though. Not real fancy, but if you're not real comfortable with knowing just to cut something straight, that's okay. Take a square like this right here, and then put yourself a nice little line on there, which I just lost my thought. There we go. Okay, there we go. And just draw yourself a nice line on here so that you know where to bend it. Okay. Now, take this here, and I want to clamp this on here like this. If I can get, yep, I held on. Now I had to make an adjustment. If you never used one of these, you've got to adjust. That's adjustable, so that bite is just right. So this will lock. Okay, watch this. I'm gonna lock it on here, like there. Now it's locked, okay? And all I gotta do is I can just simply really easily with one hand just bend that up a little bit. And I'm not gonna get real particular about the angle because I can move it easy enough when I get up there. Here we go now. And this is the stuff that now you're gonna start getting some confidence and you can say, hey, I can do this. So here we go. You got it? There, that angle looks just about right. So when I nail this piece on there, that other piece is going to come down and overlap. Okay? There we go. Now, that's the tough stuff that you can do. Or it seems tough. It seemed tough to me too. And you know what? Sometimes we just go for a long time. We haven't done something like that for a while. It happens. And I have to scratch my head sometimes and say, oh, I did that before. How did I do it though? I just don't remember. And you just go at it. And then it starts to come to you. And then you do it and you go, oh, yeah. Well, it took me half as long as it did the first time I did it. And it will for you too. So anyways, here we go. We're doing angles and you're learning one way to do them. You know what? You can get a piece of aluminum like I got here and just start whacking at it and make it fit and it'll look just as good as mine. You're just going to have a few extra pieces on the ground and you might even do it quicker. That's okay. I'm just here to show you one way to do it. And I hope you learn how to do it so that it looks good when you're done. That's the goal. That it's built right and won't fall down. See you next time.